Yo, what's going on, world? It's your boy Najee from RapRadar.com. And today I got a very special guest, man. Seated to my right. Hey, this feel like family, man. I've known this brother for a while, man. You've watched him on Genius. You've heard his raps. I got my man, Mr. Rob Markman. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
Everything is good, man. How are you?
Everything is good, man. We've been talking about doing this for a minute. So,
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm glad to be up here, man. I watch the show all the time. I see the growth of the show and the platform that you created, and I know what you really kind of built it from nothing, from just an idea, and grounded it. I seen you on the billboard in Times Square.
What a time to be alive.
You know what I mean? That's an accolade I ain't never get yet, man. So I see that.
All right, Mr. Modesty here.
Nah, bro, that's inspiring, man. It's dope.
Nah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And you know, you've shown me love throughout this whole,
Of course.
You know what I'm saying, my journey and just trying to figure it out. And I think it's important, like, we got a lot of shit to talk about, but I think it's important because I've literally, like, watched your transition. Like, I kind of seen that. And I think we met when you was at MTV.
Absolutely.
And you transitioned to Genius and made this monster fucking move. Mm-hmm. I don't even like to start, like, back to forward, but I think it's important to do that here. Like, when you was working MTV, how much different was that Rob compared to, like, the space you're in now?
That's a good question. I don't know if it was much of a difference. I think I'm more free now. Like, there was a lot of there was still a lot to show and prove when I was at MTV. I think, just because of the history of what that building comes from. You know, my career full-time started at my first kind of full-time job was like Harris Publications, so that's Scratch Magazine, XXL.
Yeah.
And then from there I went to MTV. I liken that with when you with an established brand already, and I was young coming up. It's like playing with the Yankees. Like, even when you hit the home run, even when you get the fire interview, like, you supposed to. You play for the Yankees. Right. Like, you supposed to win. It's expected. And I think when I moved to Genius, and with all due respect to the team over at Genius, when I had moved over there was a time when they were just known as the lyrics site only, and with the annotations, and they were getting into some content, but it hadn't really ramped up in that way. And the freedom to be like, oh, we can build something together. I could be a part of a team now where we could build a new dynasty and put new wins on the board and break new records. So, you know, now I would just say it's freer because of the infrastructure that we created at Genius. We created it as a team. It wasn't like I went into something that infrastructure was built the way it was.
Nah, for sure. I mean, coming on board to Genius, because it's like you, at least from the outside looking in, it looks like you literally, like you said, bringing content, kind of just transform the site and just, you know, how we look at Genius. How hard was that for you, just coming on board, knowing like, you know, I got this position and they want me to make moves? Like, how hard was it just kind of trying to create your identity in the midst of that?
At first, like, it was challenging. It wasn't easy. You know, at first, and this is just talking about me personally, you know, I had built a lot of relationships, again, being at XXL, being at MTV. That means, you know, I was around for those first couple of freshman covers. So you're building relationships with artists very early in their careers. And kind of as I'm growing as a journalist, they're growing as an artist. And I'm talking about the Big Sean's of the world, the Nipsey Hussles, rest in peace, the Mac Millers,
y'all did the legendary cover.
Yeah, Wale's, the Currencies, you know. So, you know, it was almost parallels. Their careers are growing in rap. Wiz Khalifa, you know, my career is growing in journalism. Yeah. So you come with these relationships, but it was still kind of get hard to get artists and their management and their teams to see the vision for what we were trying to do at Genius, at least when I first got there. Right. When I'm like, yo, come to Brooklyn, we're gonna film some content, we're gonna do this, and they was just like, but y'all don't do content. It took a minute to kind of build, again, the infrastructure, show and prove. And I credit that just to being on a dope team because, you know, Brendan Frederick.
Shout out to B. Fred.
Yeah, B. Fred is one of those guys, too, who came very shortly after, a couple of months after I did, and helped bring a lot of those ideas to life and add to those ideas and create, just, again, the infrastructure and the ways to do it. And everybody who's kind of joined the team. So it's been really a team effort. But yeah, it was hard at first. It was hard convincing Lil Wayne. The first interview that we did that was real big for me in the era that I got there was Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz when they did the
Collie
Collie Grove
Grove
together.
Man, I
And
remember that.
you know, I remember speaking to Mac Main, and you know, who I had a relationship with Wayne. I had history with Wayne, and we always had some dope interviews at MTV. But he was like, I don't know if I give up Wayne's time for this.
They got a hit.
Yeah, like I don't know if people gonna see it, man.
Right.
Like you gotta guarantee me. So I'm just like, yo, Mac, trust me. He's like, all right, let me just figure it out. And then he calls me a couple of days later. He's like, yo, can you come to Atlanta tomorrow? And I said, absolutely. And we flew down there, and we didn't really have a video department yet or nothing like that. Shout out to my man Opie, who's over at Genius. He just had his own personal camera. We flew out to Atlanta, and we filmed it with my man Flex. Filmed the interview, came back, put it on the internet, made it go live.
Hard.
First day is going crazy. It's busting. We split it up into 5 parts.
That. Yep.
Mac Main called me and said, yo, I don't know what the fuck you did,
Right.
but this bitch is everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was dope. You know, it was good to have that trust. But, you know, it took some work, you know what I'm saying? And I get it from an artist's perspective too. Like, you know, time is money, and you know, if you kind of lend your time to something, it has to be worth the time investment.
Absolutely.
Like, if I give you this interview, like, all people want to see it. And shout out to 2 Chainz, shout out to Tech too, because Chainz and Tech, they saw the vision. And I remember that, because the interview wasn't even out. Nobody even knew what happened. And Tech sent the tweet out that night. He said, Rob Markman the greatest. I just seen him do some unbelievable shit.
Yeah.
And nobody knew what we was talking about, man. So shout out to Tech, because he believed earlier, he saw the vision. And once we got Wayne and Mac Main on board, the ball started rolling from there. And then now I had something to show people. Yo, come to Genius, check this out.
We just did it.
Yeah, 1 million views on this video, check this out. And
Right.
it's Wayne and 2 Chainz. What you gonna say?
I mean, how hard? Because I get it from at least my angle. Like, people hate me, like, yo, why don't you get this person? Why don't you get that? Like, people don't understand how hard it is to actually like book certain level guests. And I know, like, you interviewed Nicki and you know, did the live show with Nicki, and just kind of how hard is that part? Like, even though you got the relationships, but like kind of solidifying shit.
It has to make sense. Like, you can't be dense about this shit. Like me, the Genius level interview that me and Nicki did when she dropped her Queen album, we probably was speaking about that like a year and a half before. Like, I had the idea of, I wanted to sit with Nicki and just talk about her lyrics and just talk to her as an MC.
Right.
You know, I think we in this era where we just talk about, you know, women rappers, and a lot of things are said about women who rap, and then in the media and how they represent it. And it was important for me to, like, of course Nicki is a woman. We know it, we see it, it's reflecting in her music. But I wanted to speak to the MC.
Right.
I wanted to figure out what was going on in her head when she be writing those bars, or, you know, even like in the interview, like she revealed, because I'm like, yo, do you really play Street Fighter? Because she got mad Street Fighter bars.
Right.
Like, Nicki got mad Street Fighter lines,
Yeah.
or Nicki got mad sports references. So just breaking down, like, yo, what, like, and she's just like, yo, we be in the studio, ESPN be on, or, you know, when she was with it, whatever relationship she was in, she was like, yo, the dudes will always be watching, whatever. I pick up on that, and I play with words. Yeah. So it's certain, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was dope. Like, I felt like I was just speaking to, it didn't feel like I was speaking to a superstar like Nicki Minaj or a woman MC. Yeah. It just felt like I was talking to an MC, and we got to the bottom of it. And I think that's why that was so successful. But yeah, we talked about that for a year and a half, and it wasn't that Nicki, right away when I came to her with the idea, she said she wanted to do it. Like, absolutely, I want to do it. We just got to figure out when the time is right. Right. So, you know, we just kept figuring it out, and then, you know, Queen came out, and it was like, all right, what a perfect time.
Let's go. Yeah. I mean, did you always, because like you said, you detailed from XXL, MTV, Genius, did you always feel like media was your shit? Like, because we know you as, like, nigga, when you think of rap media, your name is in the conversation. Was it always like, damn, like, I'm about to go into this media game and take the shit over?
Nah. I didn't know what I was gonna be. Like, when I was young and coming up, music, I always did music. Yeah. So I always like rap. So, like, my friends who know me, or local rappers in the New York scene, a lot of underground cats, know me from going to battles. Like, it was kind of like what you seen on 8
like
Mile.
Smack type battles, or just like local shit?
Nah, like Smack type joints, but it was kind of predate Smack. Like, if you ask if you know Poison Pen, you ask Pen, I used to be in these battles, like for real. Or, you know, I remember battling Immortal Technique
You battled Immortal Technique?
Absolutely. But that's my man too. So it was like, it was crazy. I lost that battle. Shout out to Tech, man. But just being kind of local, you know, I used to work in the call center for this spot called Delia's. And everybody in New York who spit kind of worked there. Like, rest in peace to Pumpkinhead. PH worked there, Bad C worked there. A lot of kind of like the Fat Beats crowd. Emil was a supervisor there before she got signed to Rockefeller. So that was kind of one of the first things that inspired me. I'm sitting here in the call center. Eventually I got promoted to the mailroom. But to see 1 week we working with Emil, and then a month later I turn on MTV and it's like, can I get a fuck you? I was like, yo.
Oh, it's possible.
Did it. Yeah, it's possible. Like shit like that always inspired me because I'm like, damn, I'm that close to it. It's possible. And I was going to school and I was always kind of interested in journalism, as like just the psychology of it, like how things are put together. So I took journalism courses in college, but I never set out to do. I didn't realize I was preparing myself for something. And yeah, man, I actually just landed in media, but it was nothing that I had aspired to do.
I mean, how, if you had to look back, just saying, because you and I have had a lot of conversations, like off camera, like we sat down, asked you for advice, you always kind of been there for me. And I remember times where I'm just like, yo, dog, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This shit feel like it's not working. How am I supposed to get in? How do I do this? And there's a lot of people watching that feel that. I feel like everybody kind of goes through that or had to go through that at a point. What was your kind of overcoming story or something that just made you get past that point of like, man, this shit ain't working. It's hard to get
That's
in
a fact. Yeah, no, absolutely. One, I'm gonna get to that. I want to go back to what you said. I was always willing to be there. Like if you needed me to pull up on advice, because that's what cats like Daytwan Thomas did for me when I was at my low points, and Sway and Ramon Dukes, they was always there for me. So for me, if I had a couple of years in the game over somebody, I always made myself available. Even when I left XXL, the new staff who I didn't know, if I see them out, I put my arm around them, like, because I know what you're going through, because I've been there. And I ain't gonna lie, man, like, when you had came to me and you know, you the homie, so it's like, whatever you need, we could break bread, we could talk. It made me question your OGs. I'm like, yo, what's up with the, like, why they not there for you? Because we supposed to be there for each other and pull each other up. I don't look at you as competition, B. And I never looked at you as competition. It was like, man, if you winning, I'm winning. You know what I'm saying? If B-Dot is winning, I'm winning. If Charlamagne is winning, I'm winning. If Hovain is winning, if Kazim, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you build community, because this hip-hop thing is about community. So I never looked at you as competition. I never put you on the plate. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, man, if I can help you.
Thank you, Rob, for not putting me on the plate, nigga. I'm trying to eat too.
But what I'm saying is I think there's a lot of OGs or a couple of bad apples in the bunch who have that mentality in this game. You know what I'm saying? This media game that we see, who will cut anybody's throat for an interview. Who will talk down on you when you ain't around, you know what I'm saying, in these label meetings so nobody fuck with you. That shit is disgusting to me, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I got off track, but that was important. That was important for me to say. But so, you know, after I graduate college, I have a degree in media studies. I graduated from CUNY. You know, I stayed local. I ain't go all the way to college. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like I was feeling kind of like inadequate. All my friends was going away to college and in these big programs, and I just stayed CUNY. And I worked and I thugged it out and I put myself through college. And I had a media studies degree, but I didn't know what to do with it. Because I didn't think there was a career in media for me. Because I knew, look, I like to dress like this. I knew the New York Times wasn't going to hire me. Like, I knew that wasn't an option. And I didn't think you could make a career or money really from writing from the Source or XXL. So I was working in the mailroom. Even with a degree, I'm working in the mailroom. Damn. And then I started getting opportunities to get freelance. Was
you discouraged at that point, though? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Because there were people in my life, either people, like, whenever I would try to get a promotion, because again, I told you I worked for a clothing company, a call center, they had a catalog. I used to tell them, yo, let me write for the catalog. If you ever ordered from a catalog back in the day, the writing, anybody could do it. 100% cotton, 5 pockets, denim. I could do this. Yo, let me write. They was like, nah, you good in the mailroom, stay. You good at, you great in the mailroom. And I'm just like, this is not what I want to do with my life. And even like my girl, my lady, my wife now, she'd be like, her cousins and shit would, be dating whatever dudes in the street or whatever. So they cars was a little nicer. They houses, they homes was a little bigger.
That make it harder when you see all
so
the
when you
shit
go out on the double date, and you pull up in the Mazda 626,
right,
with the hole in the muffler, right. Like I'm
windows got a
I'm feeling like inadequate. So anyway, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, one of my best friends that I went to high school with by the name of Tim Hotep, had an opportunity for me to write an album review for Complex, for Jada Kiss of Death. It was the second Kiss album. And so I took it, and he paid me. Yeah. So I'm working in the mailroom, and then I started freelancing, writing album reviews for different magazines. After that one published in Complex, Boo Rosario from The Source called me. Leah Rose from XXL called me, because it was a fresh name, and I guess the review was good, so I started writing all over. Right. So I'm working in the mailroom that day, doing album reviews at night. What I did was I stacked all my bread from the album reviews. I never spent a dime of that. I would do little short-term investments, get my money back. Me and my wife were saving up, and we copped a house. So I'm working in the mailroom. I got my first crib in Staten Island.
That's crazy.
At 25 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I had my son with me. Shortly after that, I get hired at Harris Publications at Scratch Magazine. Right. Brendan Frederick, who's now I work alongside with at Genius. Yep. B-Fred hired me, took a chance on me. So I'm like, I'm on. Right. Thing was, I'm making way less money. I made more money in the mailroom than I made working at Harris Publications.
Was you getting paid by word type shit, per word?
Nah, it was a salary.
Oh, all right.
But I was making more salary in the mailroom. Yeah. I bet. And then I can't freelance for nobody else. So I lose all that freelance money. I mean, no source checks, no vibe checks, no complex checks. And after 3 issues, they folded Scratch Magazine, and I'm out of a job. I end up at XXL 3 months later, but the money is still the same. Again, I'm like, damn, I'm making less in the mailroom. I could stay in the mailroom, but this is what I love to do. I love music. I had to refinance my house. I used to stay up at night and figure out how to pay bills, like for real. And then the conditions at XXL wasn't great. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There was some mental abuse. There was some, you know what I'm saying? It was just like you just eat shit because you're on the come up. Right. And man, I wanted to quit. I was like, I ain't cut out for this, man. And Daytwan kind of helped me through it. And it was a time I had somebody close to me, who's on the street side of shit. Yeah. And there was a time I'm looking at that, and he was like, well, if you want to get down, I could put you down. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, that shit was looking way easier but I had to look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, that's not who I am. Right. So yeah, I was super low, and I thought I was gonna quit. And Daytwan used to be like, yo, just call me. If ever you need a vet, call me. Daytwan Thomas from Vibe Magazine. This is when Twitter first started.
He still be looking out to this day, Daytwan, word.
And I was heavy on Twitter too. I was early on Twitter. Matter of fact, I started the XXL Twitter account because nobody wanted to run it. They ain't have a social media thing. So I had my own personal Twitter, and I had the XXL Twitter. So I was heavy on it. And Daytwan was said, listen, man, on the days that you need to vent, the best advice he ever gave me, he said, don't go on Twitter. Whatever you do, don't go on Twitter. Call me, because he was like, yo, the perception is you at XXL, you doing good. Everybody want to be where you at. Right. That perception is going to lead to another opportunity. If you got a problem, call me. Vent to me. Don't go on Twitter to do it. And I did it, and it was like the best advice. Sometimes I see a lot of young people kind of tweak themselves out of a check. Or tweak themselves out of a situation because you're going to keep it real for what? For Twitter? I don't know these fucking people. You an avatar.
Right, look, you arguing with an egg for a half hour.
Yeah, I know that was long-winded, but
that's real shit, though.
I was down, though, because I felt so accomplished because me and my wife were able to buy a home, and I had to refinance. I didn't know if I was going to lose it. Now I get into rap. I love it, but I ain't getting here to lose what I worked so hard for.
For sure. I mean, you you spent a lot of time just kind of talking about your mentors, and obviously like Sway was a part of that story.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get into your album in a minute, but like I know you had a line in particular on the album where you was like, Sway said, "Don't let these cameras ever change me."
First thing he saw, it was one of the first pieces of advice he told me.
What did you mean by that? Or like, do you see now, I guess, what he was talking about? What do you think he kind of meant by that?
I knew what he said when he said it. He, damn, what the hell's the line? It's the intro to my album, too.
Yeah.
This may sound a little crazy. Sway said, "Don't let these cameras ever change me."
Yeah.
When I got to MTV, you know, when I was at XXL, it was print journalism. I'm a writer.
Right.
There was a couple of on-camera opportunities that I got at XXL.
Yeah.
But I was told that I wasn't good on camera. You'll never stay off the camera. Don't get on camera. That's not for you. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Right. I was discouraged from that, which was cool. I did my job. When I went to MTV, I didn't think I was going to be on camera. Like like that wasn't part of the discussion. I knew he was going to do Hottest MCs every year. Yeah. I thought that was going to be the extent of it. After about 2 weeks, and I ain't know Sway, but we clicked right away. And after about 2 weeks, Sway said, he was like, man, because we used to argue. We used to just talk about rap and argue and debate. And he said, I like you. He was like, dog, you dope. Like the way you think, the way you passionate about it. He said, you're going to get opportunities here. And I can't tell you when and I can't tell you how. But keep doing what you're doing. You're going to get opportunities. But the one advice I got, when those cameras go on, don't let those cameras change you. The way we vibing now, keep that. And when the cameras come on, just keep that, and it's gonna shine through. A lot of people tend to change for the camera. So don't let them camera ever change you.
Yeah, you're right.
And you know, I just had so much respect for Sway. When he said that, I said, all right. And you know, when I got my opportunity, I always took heed to that, like not to be too extra and just be myself.
For sure. I mean, that's hard. That we talking about. It's Too Late at the Wake. Your second project. Just talk to me about that transition. I don't know if we ever seen that, like the media to rapper transition, like just going from media. And I feel like, I mean, I know you kind of mentioned it just even in the records, like when you started, you know, people laughed at you or whatever the case is.
Oh, they still laughing.
Yeah, still?
Absolutely. Come on, y'all see it.
How hard is it? But that's a bold
Just
move,
read the
though.
comments. When you post this on YouTube, you're going to see it. I see it. I don't give a fuck.
But that's the trolls. I don't count trolls. Like trolls, they troll. That's what they're supposed to do. This is what they do. But I mean, like, you made it feel like it was people that, like, it was people that you fuck with, and you said artists too that was looking at you different.
Oh my God, absolutely. You know, it'd be so much shit that go on behind the scenes. You know, I did the transition because I loved it, like, and it was in my heart. And I got to the point where that's what It's Too Late at the Wake is about. Is the album title. I told you I started rapping. I didn't know I was gonna be in media. Yeah. And I got to the point where I looked at my life and my career. I said, damn, I did more than I thought I was going to do in life. My brother, he's doing good now. My older brother was in the street. Yeah. And he got caught up in the situation. You know, I got a cousin that's doing life in the feds. I got a cousin that was murdered in the Bronx. I got somebody else very close to me in the street. You know what I'm saying? So everywhere around, it was like, oh, well, you know, I could end up just like that, but that wasn't me. So when I look back on my life and I'm like, damn, in terms of like impacting hip hop and the things that I love and contributing to the culture, I'm like, damn, I did more than I ever thought I would do. Yeah. I know I did more than people thought I would do coming up. I did everything except the thing I wanted to do was rap. What's gonna stop me? It's too late at the wake. So I jumped out and I started doing the music, and I knew people wasn't gonna understand it off the bat, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think it was because of your position in media, or because it was just like
absolutely? Okay. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the position in media. I think because you ain't see it before, you don't do that. Yeah, for sure. Right. Like you don't like. What are you doing? Right. Like we've seen it before. I guess you know. I think you could count Ludacris going from radio. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But it's just
your level. You was already at the level when you made the jump. That's what I guess made it different. Is like Luda. I guess he kind of had a base. He was going to come up. Him and Lala was there.
We see Angie do it. Right. You know, credit to Tigger, Big Tigger. Yep. But I always felt like those were radio personalities. So you already fell in love with their voice. And not to say their transitions wasn't hard. Right. But to me, Angie always had a dope voice. I love listening to Angie. Right. Yeah. You know, Luda always had a dope voice. Tigger, we always knew Tigger could rap from the basement. So for me, I think from this kind of coming, I started in the print era. Like, and you see me, but you, like, it was just different. Right. But I didn't care. Like, you know, it was just like, man, who gonna tell me what to do? Like, I already did the impossible to me, or way more again than I thought I was gonna be. So this ain't about nobody else. It's about me. And definitely people laugh. You see it.
Yeah.
You seen the tweets. It be established people.
Yeah.
Like platinum and gold records.
Right.
With all types of criticism and shit to say.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do it. I mean, it don't bother you like at all? Cause I just like, and that's the thing is, I guess for me, like when I seen it, one, you my man, so you're gonna get support off the rip. But then two, I like the idea just off of like you said, is I'm breaking like this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it, and I don't really give a fuck what y'all think. I just think that's dope. But like, how, like at what? Because it felt like serious. Like there was a point I was like, I didn't know if this was just like yo a one-off, and you got your shit off and that was it, or if it was like this is real. And then I just seen you do Rolling Loud. I'm like, oh, this nigga Rob is not playing for real.
And I bodied it too. Low key.
Word.
Like
shout out to S. Wit too.
You know, shout out S. Wit, man. And we rehearsed and we practiced for that. And I knew I was going into Rolling Loud. They didn't know the material. I had just dropped the project a couple of days. People still looking at me trying to figure it out. But I'm on my MC shit. So what do you do to get people attention? Yo, Wit, cut the beat off and you freestyle.
You freestyle.
Shit changed after that. Yeah, I said I had a joint where I said, you know, I had a verse. I wrote the verse. It wasn't like an off the head thing, but I was like, oh, I'm just gonna shout out everybody on the lineup. Okay. So it was something. I had some bars, and then it goes, you know, get the headline on the line. Tell them I can rhyme too. Call Cardi B. Tell her I got shmoney on my mind too. This generation now, I deal with drama all the time too. I feel like Lil Uzi Vert. Sometimes I wish I never signed too. I said I'm with Travis Stargazing, and that shit might blind you. I heard Rich the Kid new album and said, damn, the world is mine too.
That's all.
Put down the gang, whether you Crip or you Pyru. This motherfucking Rolling Loud. This ain't that bullshit by Ja Rule. Now I'm gonna put this shit in order, because it's a fire festival, but you never have to suck no dick to get some water. Do the water in the crowd. But that's MC shit. Like that's just what you do. So now I'm serious about it. Like, and I don't give a fuck who don't like it. Like, and of course I'm human, so you see certain days or you get disappointed. I ain't gonna say everything roll off you or every day is just like, but you know, you take the hit, you keep on moving, because it's not gonna stop.
Does that affect your relationship with niggas? Like, I think I seen Young Berg hating one time.
Yeah, talk about
it. Does that like affect, like, you know, I don't fuck with this nigga. You ain't coming Genius no more. Nah. No lyric videos. Take this nigga shirt off the shit.
I wouldn't do that, because I think that's disingenuous to the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't ban anybody off of their opinion. Did I like what Young Berg said or his critique or criticism? Nah, but throughout my career, I've critiqued people. So you can't give it out and then you not take it.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? I always kind of, even when I kind of critique something, I try to be as unbiased as possible. I try to be respectful as possible. Like, I ain't calling you out your name. It ain't nothing personal. It's just like, all right, this is what the music is, and we talk about the music all the time as fans.
Right.
But I'd be a clown if I did that for a big portion of my career. You know, that's not all that I do. All I do is just sit there and critique, but it's part of what I did, and then you can't take a critique.
That's a fact.
Like, you be a real sucker. But I'm a rapper too, so when I get back in the studio, you're gonna get the bar.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And for whoever heard it, there was an absolute response. To it. But I wouldn't stop him from coming to Genius if it made sense. You know what I'm saying? And he's producing a lot of shit. So I definitely see a world where he comes, because it's disingenuous to the culture. Shit, one time, and we don't even really know each other like that.
Right.
But when I had Chains on my talk show on Genius for the record, you know, we talking about the album and going through the tracks, and we talked about the joint he had, Rule the World, with Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the track, but I felt like I couldn't talk about the track and be like, oh yeah, Berg produced that, right? He sampled. I thought it was real smart how they sampled A. Marie.
Right.
You know, that's a classic. Whatever Berg did that. Hitmaker did that.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, like I brought that up because it was like, how am I going to talk about the record and the production is such a big part of that record, and not talk about the production? That's bias. That's like some crab shit. And then I seen it was funny. Somebody showed me. They was like, oh, damn, I thought you and Young Berg hated each other. He posted it on his Insta story. Like me talking to Chainz and acknowledging his contribution to the record. So yeah, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't play those games, man.
Bro. I respect that.
You know,
bro.
you still
if you
gonna get
rap radar, you out of here. I'm letting you know now. You ain't never coming on the show. Word.
You're still gonna get the bars. I'm not gonna not say nothing.
Yeah.
But it's like you do it and you move on. It's fucking rap. It's not Tupac and Biggie, dog.
Right.
Like we're not going there. So
Nah,
it's
for
like,
sure. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. I know just you've kind of built your voice and your brand to be like one of the leading voices in this culture. And a lot of people, you know, they look up to you. They're trying to figure out how to maneuver based on your words, your tweets.
That's crazy.
Shit like that, yeah. What do you, because I get a lot of aspiring rappers who watch this too, and just, you're on both sides, right? You're playing offense and defense, right? You media and understand the artist side. What kind of, I guess, advice could you give to somebody who's just trying to come up and they're trying to figure out, like, how do I, not necessarily cross over, but like, how do I level up? How do I make an impact in this game?
On the artist side?
Yeah. On both sides.
I think the key to success in anything is consistency. You know what I'm saying? You have to be more consistent than ever. I take a guy like Russ. You know, Russ was one of those guys, and if you've seen it kind of early in his career, a lot of the media was clowning him for it, and say, oh, you used to spam us with Twitter links, and used to like email us all the time and beg us to post your stuff, like if that was a bad thing.
Right.
That's what he's supposed to do. How I met Russ was tweeting me like he was tweeting everybody else.
And you listen.
I stopped to listen.
Right, you different, yeah.
And I was like, and the way he's kind of very cocky and arrogant, and the self-belief that he has in he's always had that. Yeah. He was always like that. So even when he came to me, it was like some funny shit, like aggressive, but he was like joking. But it was funny. It was one thing, like the story, because now it sounds weird. Now it sounds like he just sunned me. And it wasn't he was producing for Boogers. He wasn't even rapping yet. He was producing for Boogers. Yeah. And so that's the joints they were pushing. And so one night I'm playing 2K, so I think I tweeted, yo, I'm about to play 2K, whoever want to jump on, blah, 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 blah. And then he was like, yo, we gonna smash you in 2K. If we beat you, you gotta listen to my record. And I'm like, man, shut up. We're not doing that right now. Right. And then he was just like, yo, my man Boogers, yo, his shit better than Nas, his shit better than Illmatic. So he just was like being mad, annoying. Right. And I'm like, man, shut up, man. I was like, listen, man, I'm gonna listen to the record, but it better be on some Nas level shit. Cause if it's not, I'm gonna fucking talk bad about you. I bet. So I listened, and the record was dope. Yeah. It wasn't Nas, it wasn't Illmatic. So I hit him and I was like, bro, this shit was actually dope. Yeah. But you gotta chill with all that Nas Illmatic shit. He said, yo, if I didn't say that, you wouldn't have paid attention. I said, oh, okay, you got a point. Right. A couple months later, we put him on Raphics, MTV Raphics, Get in the Game. We put Boogers on, and they spoke to Trina. They played the video for Trina, and Russ was there, you know, alongside him. And then when Russ started rapping and doing his own music, we put him back on Get in the Game again, just because I believed in his talent. Yeah. But I say all that, say again, it's long story short, he stayed consistent. Then he got to the point when he gets to the SoundCloud era of Russ, he's putting a new song out every week with consistent artwork with different colors. He built that. Nobody gave that shit to Russ. That's why when Russ gets up there and talks his shit, I'm like, go ahead. Because I seen when everybody fronted on him and nobody gave him no. He might be annoying to you. You might not like the way he go about it, but you got to respect it. Absolutely. That dude built his shit. You know what I'm saying? And he was consistent. Not everybody's a Russ. And he was talented. Right. It wasn't like he was consistent and he was garbage. He was super talented. Right. But that consistency, that perseverance, that cutting through, that wanting to go to the studio, that, you know, because now we have the tendency to look at our SoundCloud or look at our Spotify. You can see how many times this shit was streamed. Right. And you can see how many times Lil Uzi Vert shit was streamed, and if it don't match up, you might feel dejected, like, God damn, I can't.
Right.
You can't look at that shit. You have to stay the course because it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna happen for preparation over a year, 2 years, 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So consistency. I just tell anybody, if you love it, do it to death. This life, and again, it goes back to my album, It's Too Late at the Wait. Yeah. That's another message within, I'm gonna do this to death. I'm here for a short time. None of us is here forever. Right. I'm gonna go out doing what the fuck I love.
That's what's up.
Whether you like it or not, and it's gonna pay off in one way or another, but I feel fulfilled.
That's hard, man. Shout out to Russ, man. You're right, man. That consistency and grind is really what gets you there. Mm-hmm.
And talent, like then you have to be. Sometimes then it's up to your talent too.
Right.
Like, but
talent got to speak too.
But if you go consistent, you're gonna get better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but if you love it, do it to death.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, we gotta get into the shits a little bit, Rob.
Man.
You went viral the other day.
I didn't do nothing.
Yo, the crazy shit is like, I didn't see the live. I forget what I was doing. I didn't see Joe's live, and then I think Too Cool to Blog. Shout out to Too Cool to Blog. He always so quick. I don't even know who that is. People think that's Elliot. It's not Elliot.
I don't know who that is. But I do For the Record episodes.
Yeah.
And they post about it, like the second to go up on YouTube, they post about it before the Genius account posts about it. I'm like,
shout out to whoever you are, Too Cool to Blog, you a dope motherfucker. I don't know.
Shout out to y'all.
I like Too Cool to Blog, but he was posting it, so I was watching it and I'm like, oh shit. And then Drake said what he said, like, he was trolling Joe obviously at the pool party, like, yo, play the diss records. Play Story to Adidon. I bet the only person that knows the lyrics is Rob Markman. And then I just seen your name going fucking viral all across my timeline and all that good stuff. First, it's a couple layers to it, but like when you heard it, what was the first thing you was thinking?
First thing I want to say, because I know this is the part that probably
everybody want to know this shit right
This is the part that he gonna put on his Twitter first to make sure everybody watch it.
We're putting all that. The Russ part, too. We got some ill parts in here.
I know how the game go. I just want to preface it by saying, just so the people know, this is not a press run. Me and Najee have been talking about doing this before this. This was in place before.
Nah, that's important. Let me clarify that. Yeah,
so that's all. I just want people to know that.
To do this. This isn't like that happened that we're doing this. Yeah, facts.
Yeah, I'm not on the fucking press run. I'm not doing no interviews about this shit.
That's a fact.
Because it wasn't even a big deal to me. I was driving. I was doing some shopping. I was going to get some shelving at Target. I just did
grown man shit.
I just did the walk-in.
You get money when you get shelves.
I just converted one of my rooms in the crib to a walk-in closet. So I was like, man, let me just kind of check out the shelving situation. That's the same house I got from the mailroom, brother. I'm telling you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm on it, baby.
Right.
Nah, no, but I was driving and my phone just kept blowing up. I literally, if I'm being honest, I thought somebody passed away. Like it's just how we conditioned.
Was that crazy?
Yeah, the phone just keep going off, and I'm just like, what the? And I got the Apple Watch on, so the Apple Watch is shaking,
clicking.
And I'm like, and I'm driving, and I'm like, I had caught a couple tickets for texting while driving, and it's just generally a bad thing. I said, I'm not picking up the phone. I'm gonna wait till I pull over.
Right.
Again, in the parking lot, I'm like, let me check this shit out, and I seen a text from Hovain.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you a legend. Just like that. So I'm like, the fuck is this? So I look at the screenshot and I read what it said, and then it's just a bunch of texts, the same shit.
Yeah.
People reacting to it. And so I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what's the context?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, Joe's at his pool party. And, I started digging it. I'm like, damn, well, why they put my name in it? Like, right. what I got to do with it?
Right.
And then it just settled in. I said, I am the guy that know the lyrics.
But that's love, though. I feel like...
Yeah, I'm the guy that knows the lyrics.
You do this.
I'm like, where's the lie? Right. I know the Adidon lyrics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you know the Duppy lyrics?
I know the Duppy lyrics. Like, this a fact. Yeah. I know I might got the Making of the Murder lyrics in the back of my head, too. But, I was like, damn, like, that's cool. Like, I'm known as the guy that knows the lyrics. Is good branding, I guess. But again, it's through consistency. I didn't try, like, What do you say to Drake to, yo, say my name? Like, there was nothing.
Yeah.
All I did was just do the work that I do every day.
So,
and
but
that
what do you
came
feel
out.
about the idea, like, because I guess, and I feel like, I guess that's kind of how Drake is thinking on a level of, like, he makes diss records that are songs, right? Like,
Yeah.
you could play this shit wherever, whenever, and you're going to get this, and you're going to like this song.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like, I guess now, does that take away from diss records if it's just a moment in time? Like, meaning, like, I listened to Story of Addy Don maybe the first 2 days it came out, and then after that, I never listened to it again. I don't really have a reason to necessarily listen to it again.
It's not on streaming.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
do you feel like that? Like, you gotta do...
No, you don't have to do it. This hip hop, and it's a gladiator sport. I think it works out. I think the stars align beautifully when you can make a diss record that is kind of ubiquitous in that way and it plays everywhere. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and those are great moments. And Drake did that with Back to Back.
Yep.
But that's not a new thing. KRS did that with the Bridge Is Over when you know, like that played in all the clubs, like back in that day.
Yeah.
But it's not the standard and it's not the norm. I think it's a special moment. I think most battles kind of happen, I'm going to use an old term, but on the B-side or in the underground. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think you need a hit record to win a battle. It's nice when it aligns, but that's the magic hour. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it wasn't like Duppy was a hit record either. Like I think the Drake versus Pusha thing was a underground rap battle.
But it wasn't that underground because it's Drake. Like, I seen
he'll elevate it.
People, all them
Who?
other People magazine, like all the...
Why do we care? Why do we care? That's the other shit.
don't.
Nah, this the other shit, and this ain't on you. I don't give a fuck what people thinks about any rap battle. Like, this shit for real. Like, whenever our culture kind of gets into... Again, this the art of rap. This battling, right?
Yeah.
Perfect example. And forgive me, I don't know the outlet, so I'm not gonna put them out there. But it was one of these outlets. When Nicki dropped Barbie Dreams, off of Queen, the culture knew what that was right away.
100%.
That was a Biggie homage. That's playful. That's tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
It's a dope record. A lot of these white mainstream entertainment publications, their first thing was to paint it as a diss song and get those tweets off and get those retweets.
Just clickbait era.
Yeah, but some Dame Dash shit. You don't know shit about my culture, B.
Right.
Like, fuck out of here. Like, leave it
That's a fact.
to the rest of us. Now you taking up space because if you're not going to hire the people that know how to actually report this shit and contextualize this shit, butt the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah.
On some real shit like that, and that's just how I feel. So when it comes to a Pusha T and Drake battle, I don't care what people have to say. I don't care what Entertainment Tonight or any of these publications have to say. Like, it's us, it's the culture. Like, this our shit. Like, let us have something.
We ain't gonna get nothing. There you go. But hold up, is the battle, like, for all intents and purposes, is this an ongoing thing? Like, we just gonna shoot shots occasionally, or is it like over? Because we were talking off camera, and I'm like, Drake lost the battle clearly, right?
Yeah.
Like, whenever you know, he had to explain the blackface and all of that. When you gotta explain shit, that's like an L, right? To me.
Damn.
But that's a fact. If you can't explain on wax and you gotta write a memo, that's an L. That's
Sometimes
an
you need
L.
to
And
explain
Drake is
something.
my guy. Like,
Right.
I fuck with Drake, but that was an L.
Right.
But even he never, like, it didn't really hurt though. Like, if it don't hurt you, is it really? Did you win?
Yeah.
Battles is
It's a
Meek was
win.
hurt when they did the fucking Drake Meek battle. Meek was hurt by that.
I look at it like boxing.
Yeah.
Right?
Same.
You know, I seen Roy Jones get knocked out.
Ice cold.
Like, take a L.
Yeah.
He's still fucking Roy Jones Jr. Don't get it twisted. Like, he's one of the best to ever do it. Like, listen.
All right, but
So what I'm
if
saying
Floyd
is,
took an L, everyone gonna look at him differently though.
Yeah, because the way Floyd built it up, but he's still Floyd. Look at Pacquiao. Pacquiao's still an amazing fighter, like the history of his career. A lot of the great fight. Floyd kind of started this undefeated thing.
Yes.
But Muhammad Ali took L's.
Definitely did.
He got L's in the loss column. Muhammad Ali, greatest boxer ever.
Debatable, but
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you could take an L in a battle, but still be Drake. Like it doesn't. change who he is, and I don't think it was designed that way. I think again, it's gladiator sport.
Right.
This is the Fight Club, so you kind of do that, and
I
then
feel
it's back
like
to
it
business.
would,
Because I
though.
think Pusha went back to being who Pusha T was.
Yeah.
And Drake went back to being who he was.
At least I give it a pass though, because it was like, if we're using the boxing analogy, Drake didn't really get knocked out. It was like the corner waved the towel, because Jay Prince came and really. I feel like Drake had, because he was saying, I got this crazy.
Possibly.
Kill y'all niggas.
Right, possibly, but
So that's like I could
What you
respect
gonna
the
do
towel
is-
over like you got knocked out. It was more like the towel got thrown in.
it's still out.
Still out.
Like I think you got to give Pusha the credit too. As again, when you just talk about the gladiator sport, like don't take the L. Because for Meek, you could say, right? Oh well, Meek couldn't really respond because he was on tour and he didn't really have time to write, and he was doing shows every night and he recorded it on the bus. Like then you could start qualifying and making all different types of different things.
that Meek just was trash,
the
though,
only thing that matters is the records that come out. It's the only thing you could be judged on.
Is the shit
You know
that
what I'm
come
saying?
out.
Like,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Roy could be like, damn, man. What was Roy? Roy got knocked out, right?
Yeah.
By Antonio Tarver.
Yep.
Um,
Twice.
Was Tarver the first one?
Tarver was the first one.
He got knocked out by Tarver. And the thing was that if you remember, Roy was going from heavyweight to light heavyweight, and he kept
Mixing.
fluctuating
Yeah,
weights.
for sure.
And a lot of analysts was like, yo, that rapid change in weight
That's gonna fuck
fucked
you
him
up.
up and left him susceptible to
That's
that.
a fact.
And that may be true.
But it's still.
But the L is the L. Like you can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I like how you put that.
And this is like trying to look at it unbiased. A lot of times when I look at this stuff to talk about it to my audience, of course everybody has their favorites, a bias, who they like. But I try to score it like boxing. Like
Would you say
coming
you're
up.
biased to Pusha T? Because I feel like niggas feel like this is outside looking in that Pusha feels like your man's.
I feel.
It feels like your man's. I don't know if that's your
Yeah,
man's.
nah, me and
It feels
Pusha,
like
me
your man's.
and Pusha have a relationship, like definitely. But I don't know what people think in terms of how close it actually is. The only time you ever see me and Push together on the gram, right? For example, the pictures don't be at his house. We don't be at the club busting it up. I'm not at the dealership with him and Steven Victor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Every time you
work
see a
shit.
picture of us, we're doing an interview. We're on the set. And those are actually the only times that I see him.
Right.
Like, for real.
Okay.
But that's the only times that I see Crit. You know what I'm saying? That's the only, I have a relationship with Kendrick too, but I see him when we working. And then when I'm not working, I'm back with the guys that I came up with. So I think some of that is misconstrued. But I don't know. I don't know what the perception is. I don't know what people think. But I'm a Pusha fan, but I'm a Drake fan too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got to call it, like, at the end of the day, if you're calling it like boxing, you can't hear the Drake Meek Mill battle and not call that a W for Drake. Like, I don't care if you hate the guy.
Meek's diss that he put out was just bad. I fuck with Meek.
Right,
Like,
right.
I listen to championships every day still. But
Right.
like that was just a bad.
Right.
It just wasn't a good
Okay.
diss. But the fact that Drake didn't get a chance to get that whatever he had, he didn't get a chance to get it off. So I felt cheated. Like, you know what? If Jay Prince wasn't throwing in the towel, no. Cause we was talking about the disses off camera, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like.
But you talking about what ifs. Like, I
so let's talk
can't
about-
deal with a what if.
Is Addy Don really better than Duppy though?
I think so. Because I think it was again, if you just scoring it, it was almost like the response. It was the way, if you science the record, it was the way Duppy ended with saying, Pusha's wife's name. Yeah. And then Pusha takes that line, and that's exactly where he starts from. Like, to me, it was a smart record. It was like a real kind of smart, thought out response. But am I the only one who feels that way? Like, I feel like I feel like hip hop. Like you sitting here arguing the other way, and that's fine. I feel like hip hop. I think the consensus is that Pusha won.
No, he absolutely won.
Okay, so
was it a better diss?
We arguing
because
about?
it's like it's the takeover versus Ether, right? Like Ether won But I don't know if Ether was actually in a better diss record, though.
I don't know what we're talking about, man.
All right, man.
No, I'm saying, like, you can't be like, yo, he won, but did he have the better diss? He won.
Does that, all right, all right, he won because there's the pitcher one, right? The pitcher, that was uppercut. We talk about boxing, that was one of those. That was a knockdown for sure. Pitcher was crazy. You are hiding a child was crazy too.
Sure.
But it felt like more like gossipy type shit than actual like
I think
facts and
I don't even
bars.
want to. Why are we talking about this?
I don't know.
Months
Just because
later?
you went
Like, how did
viral,
we get
like
there?
it just got there.
I think two things. I, at least from my perspective, I'll answer that. Is that one? I think Drake, the whole thing that started this Instagram on Joe Budden.
Yep.
I think it's a joke. I don't think it's a rehash of the beef.
Yeah, nah.
I think him saying, "Yo, play it at a party."
Yeah, he's trolling. It's a joke.
It's a troll. It's a joke.
Sure.
Like you've seen Drake have a sense of humor. He'll be at the game with the lint roller, just
Right.
like he does shit. I want my chips with the dip.
Yeah,
like he knows how to pick
stir
certain
up.
moments.
Yeah.
So I think even us talking about it, I think as hip hop fans, it's cool and
That's
it's
what
dope
it
to
is.
analyze this because this is what we do in the barbershops. This is what we do when the cameras aren't on. But I don't think there's a problem. I don't
Right.
see this getting rehashed
Right.
off of what he said on Joe's IG. I think they're behind us. Okay, so was it a better diss record? It came off as gossip, you said. I think it was a read. It was like a character read. Or because the way it was just structured as a record, it was like, oh, you said my wife's name.
Yeah.
Why? You talk about marriage like it's bad. Why?
Right.
Oh, well, look at the relationship of your parents and how that went, and your father splitting and you spending half the time with your father than you could have. This is all, he used the material that the story that we're so invested in, that Drake has done a good job of opening himself up. A great job, and we're invested in that story. We know his mom's name.
Right.
We know his mom's name is Penny. We know his dad is Dennis.
Yeah.
Like, we
Yeah.
know that story, and we're tied up in the emotion.
That's true.
And I think Pusha just used that to twist the knife and go, okay, marriage, you said, I think when Drake says that line, I don't even think that's a crazy, I think it's
Virginia
wordplay,
Williams.
but you said the man's wife's name, so gloves are off, and then when he take it, you can't control that. So it starts with that, like, oh, you talk about marriage like it's bad, this is what happened with your parents. Oh, and look, you're in the same predicament. Now you're repeating history that your father, whether it's true or not, whether that's the true, what's really in this man's heart, the way it played out and the way Pusha constructs the narrative is interesting as fuck, and it's a smart record, and I think it's more than gossip. I think to reduce it to just gossip is a little limited.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. I can't reduce
Like,
it.
I think it's just a smart response. It's like, because rap is also like playing the dozen. If you crack on me, then what I'm gonna say back to you, I gotta go back and I gotta make it hurt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and who knows what the truth is? I'm not,
Right.
but I'm scoring this
Based
for the
on
art
what
of
it
rap
is,
and
yeah.
points. I don't know that Pop fuck Faith, but goddamn, when
The way he said it,
when
I
he
was
said
like,
you claim to be a
oh,
player, but I fucked your wife.
Yeah. He started off first. I fucked me, fat motherfucker. I was like, oh shit.
Like, I don't know if it's, you know what I'm saying? But, and this is the unbiased thing. Look, I'm growing up, I'm a kid in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm Biggie all day, but I
All
was actually
day.
a Pop fan as well.
Okay.
Like, I used to get teased. They used to come to my crib, my friend, like, damn, why you got these Pop CDs? Like, you fuck with that West Coast shit? I was always the type of hip hop fan that I listened to everything. So
Right.
I had Biggie, I had Jay, I had Onyx, but I had Souls of Mischief, I had Alcoholics, I had the Outkast CD.
Right.
I just never,
Everything.
I grew up on Scarface.
Yeah.
So I'm Brooklyn all day. But dog, when that Hit 'Em Up dropped, it was like, God.
Yeah, that was OD. Yeah, that was crazy.
Like, I was mad because Big was like, in my mind, Big was my man.
Right.
It's Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, that's
It's
a great
crazy.
fucking record.
Yeah,
Hit 'Em
okay.
Up, for as nasty as it is a great record. Hit 'Em Up changed the rules of engagement in hip hop. I don't think you get an ether without Hit 'Em Up. The way it was just so vile and
You
disrespectful.
think it changed again though? Because now you can't even like. The 40 line was a thing. Like niggas was like, oh, like you gotta have restrictions with your.
But again, I don't think you need to have restrictions. Do I like it? Am I 40 a cool guy?
Yeah.
like super cool. He don't bother nobody.
Nah. All right, I'm gonna spend too much
you know,
time on that shit. Yeah.
It's rap. At the same time, Cameron said, we know what Cameron said. He told Stan Spit, I used to spend time with you on Mother's Day because your mother's dead.
Yeah.
Y'all shit's fucked up. Like Cam has said the most foulest shit in hip hop. Again, this ain't for people and this ain't for E News and none. This the barbershop.
Yeah, facts.
Stay out of it.
Facts.
So it's part of the game, man. Like you can't like it, but it's I don't know.
All right, lastly, some shit I want to ask you because I don't get a chance often to talk some rap shit with a real one.
We spent a lot of time on that.
Man. I had to, yeah, we did.
It just feels.
Listen, Young Thug.
Yeah.
Young Thug is having this resurgence right now that just feels like, I mean, he's always been around, he's always been relevant, but right now it feels like it's just a Super Saiyan moment. I don't know what to even call it, but like Thug feels like he's everywhere. He just sold, was it 150,000 or something first
number
week.
one album.
I put out a tweet where I was like, I feel like I attribute Young Thug taking a year basically to tour with Cole in Dreamville, which exposed him to a whole new audience, a whole different crowd. What do you think just about Thug? Like, why is it happening right now to this level when he hasn't really had this type of attention before?
I don't know. Yeah, I think the touring helps. I think, you know, getting out there on that road, you know, as much as the game changed, getting out there on that road changes everything. And there's a difference between getting with an artist like Cole or Kendrick or even a Drake, because those guys can go and do arenas across the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So being exposed to that audience can only help and elevate. You know what I'm saying? I think it makes people feel closer to you. So, you know, and I think Thug was a draw.
Yeah.
I think Thug absolutely helped sell tickets, and there were people who went there and said, I'm a Young Thug fan, I'm gonna see Young Thug, but you also buy those tickets and say, I'm a Cole fan. I like Young Thug, I know a bunch of songs, and then you kind of see him up close and personal,
right?
And then it's just like, oh, I fuck with him. I feel like I know him. You know what I'm saying? And that's not just Thug, that's just any artist. But not to discount his talent either, and his trajectory. It's dope. But, you know, he was dropping shit. I thought his Run It Up EP was super dope.
Yeah.
And like, and, you know, my favorite Thug shit is still the Rich Gang, the tour mixtape, shit he did with Quan. I know he don't really rock with Quan like that, but boy.
But they had some heat on there.
Dog, that shit. Yeah. Yo, Thug, my favorite Thug verse is the Givenchy. Givenchy, but you call it Givenchy. Yeah. Givenchy, my toes and my hoes and my bro. Like, if you listen to that shit, like, Thug is fucking rapping. No, he go fucking rap. Yeah. Don't stop. You know I can't stop.
Right.
Flows
crazy, yeah.
Yo, this shit was
fucking
crazy.
Like Thug, I feel like Thug is kind of, he's had such a longevity and now even still growing, but somebody like Future who kind of feels like in that lane, I feel like Future, he might have peaked already, kind of. Like, it don't feel like, you know, like it's still, Thug feels like it's still climbing. Like, how do you...
Well, Thug started after Future, right? Thug came after Future, so Future got some years.
How much longer, though? Was it that, like,
maybe 2 or 3 years?
Another year, 2?
2 or 3.
2 or 3, okay.
I feel like, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, I don't know, but everybody's one hit away. Like,
Word.
Like, Future's been in a point too where he's been kind of like, yo, has he lost it? And then he dropped the Hendrix album, and the Future album, like that Hendrix album is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And the Future album, what he did with that, you know, the game is fickle though, and it moves kind of up and down, but still everybody's kind of one hit away, and then also everybody's one scandal away, everybody's one tweet away from being canceled. Yeah. Like it's so fickle these days. You know, you just gotta take advantage of the moments when they're in front of you. Right. I think. You know, Thug too. He had Havana. With Camila, which kind of put him on a very pop level. Yeah. So, you know, I think there was a lot of work that came up into this album being the number one album. Timing is everything.
For sure. All right, man. Yo, I'm gonna take up too much of your time. Just lastly, like, with regard to your music, what's next? What does next look like from here?
Yeah, I'm working on another EP right now. You know, for me, the first EP that I dropped, 2017, I dropped my first EP, Right to Dream, and I think that was the moment you was talking about, where it was like people was like, all right, this cool.
Yeah.
Like, is this a vanity? Is this a one-off? Is he just having fun? All of 2018, I dropped about 8 singles in 2018 that I'm just like, all right, now I got to kind of really build a base for my music, because the people who watch my interviews are not necessarily the same people who are listening to the music. So I gotta put the work in. I gotta be consistent. I'm not sitting here just because I'm Rob Markman and people may know me because of the interviews that they're gonna fuck with my music. Nah, they fuck with me because of the conversations I have and maybe who I'm next to. I interviewed their favorite artists. Yeah. So 2018, I did about 8 singles. This year I dropped It's Too Late at the Wake, and I'm working on another EP right now that I'm gonna drop before the end of the year. Like, I'm gonna drop it shortly. My whole thing is just being consistent. And the dope thing is, you know, I'm in a position, which is great, where it's like, because of who I am, there's more visibility than if I was just an artist starting from the block. Yeah. But that don't discount the work I gotta do.
That's a fact.
I gotta put the work in. I gotta record these songs. I gotta make each song better than the last. I gotta make each project better than the last. You know, you can feel how you want about my music, and that's fine. Like I said, I gotta be able to take the critique. But if you listen to that first project, Right to Dream, and if you listen to Lay at the Wake, you see the growth.
Elevation. Yeah.
The music got way better. The bars got tighter.
100%.
So it's only, what's this next EP gonna bring? You know what I'm saying? What's gonna come after that? And, you know, I'm just gonna keep doing it. And it's really just me. I didn't sit there. I think people maybe thought I was gonna make a DJ Khaled album. That's gonna be a bunch of features and favors. I ain't get it for that. Like, it was really for me to express myself and do something that I love, and that's what's gonna continue doing. I can't tell you at the end of the day where I'm gonna end up. Am I ever gonna hang a gold and platinum plaque? I think so. I think I can get one for sure. You know, if I can get one, I can get 2. Yeah. And that's what we're working towards. But I'm cool if I never get that, because I feel like the shit I'm doing now, if it can't be quantified in streams and sales and accolades, it means something to people. There's gonna be another generation of artists coming up who's gonna be like, damn, I seen what Rob went through, and that inspired me to do what I did. And I'm cool with that, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, God's blessed me to the point where I don't really need the music for the money. Like, it's not a money grab for me. I seen somebody say, when I first dropped the project, somebody was like, yo, damn, these journalists must not be making no fucking money. Like, they out here trying to rap now. Like, it'd be like little slick shit too. Right. It was a rapper too, and I caught it. Yeah. And he caught a sub too. It's like, it's shit going on that y'all don't even know. But I see everything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? My man sent me the tweet like, yo, I think they talking shit about you. It's okay, I got something for your ass. Right. But you crazy? I'm good right now. Like, or I don't need crap
shelves in the you go shelf shopping, nigga.
I was at Target though. I was at Target.
That's when you real good.
But but I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm good.
For sure.
And everything that comes after with the music is just icing on the cake. So it's really just about living my life and doing what I love to death. Yeah. I could walk out of here, God forbid, right now and get hit by a bus. Like, fuck it. I live my life doing what the fuck I want to do. And if that bothers you, I question you. Because I'll tell you a quick story. I know I'm long-winded. But one day I got a text from somebody, like, number nobody saved in my phone, just hating, dog, give it up, quit, you fucking suck. Like, we love your interviews, but da-da-da-da-da-da. And at first, I'm like, it feels a little like invasive because it's a text, it's not a tweet no more.
Not saved in your phone. Just
So I'm like, oh, you know who I am. Yeah. That means you use me from another phone and you probably got my number, I probably know you, or you know somebody who knows me. You probably asked me for a favor and needed me for something. Right. And you too pussy to really say how you really feel, but you want to do it. And then I was like, damn, who could have sent? Like, I started thinking about it because I'm human. Who could have sent this? And first of all, that was a waste of time because it don't matter. But I thought about it. I'm like, well, it's not Hove. It's not Nas. It's not Drake. It's not Kendrick. It's nobody that's doing better than me because they not looking back. Mm. That means it's somebody who's aspiring to where I want to be, took the time. Yo, you could have wrote a verse for sending that text. Like, you stopped what the fuck you wanted to do and what your dream was to hate on me and to express your opinion on how I feel more sorry for you than anything, because I'm doing what the fuck I'm doing. You're not stopping nothing.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So that was, you know, that was that, and it was perspective. Like, I thought about that. I was like, why am I upset? It ain't Hove.
Right. Who are you? It's a little egg going Twitter.
Yeah, like
fuck you, egg.
Hove
Whoever you
don't
are.
like.
Word.
Hove might have heard my shit. I don't know.
Word.
And he might have liked it, or he might not have liked it.
Right.
But he ain't gonna tweet me, yo, you fucking suck.
Right.
He got shit to do.
Right. Imagine Hove in the crib just trolling on Twitter.
You fucking suck. Yeah, just Hove just trolling. Yeah, it's fucking trash.
Yeah.
Nah, he got shit to do, and I got shit to do. I got a responsibility to myself to just keep being the best that I could be.
Right.
And it's working. Like, I seen it. When I was on that Rolling Loud stage, when I'm out there in the street, nobody never say the shit to me
In your face.
in my face that y'all say on Twitter.
Right.
Every time I'm in the street, it's like, oh, you such an inspiration.
Right.
Nobody never stepped on my nights.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So you can't, you know, it was like Tyler said, man, like, what the fuck is cyberbullying? Turn
Right.
your phone off.
No, exactly.
Log off.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
keep going, man. So that's it.
Nah, that's a fact. Yo, Rob, thank you, man.
Love.
Not just for this interview, but like your contributions to this culture, man.
Nah.
That shit mean a lot. And, you know, we need brothers like you that's really representing us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, the same way we need brothers like you, like this art shit. I always say this community, bro. And I'm proud of this show. I feel honored to be invited, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I like what you're building. We're gonna look back on this, man. We need you too, like a young perspective, a different. Nobody's doing the cigar thing. I know I ain't smoked, but
It's all good.
you doing something different, man. And I've seen the interviews that you've done up here. You had some T Grizzly,
Man,
Millions.
millions. What's up? Millions.
Yeah, Mano was a dope interview.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I seen a lot of these interviews that I really enjoy, and I consume this just as a fan of shit. So I'm glad to be
Thank
on
you,
it.
man. Nah, I appreciate you pulling up. Hey, dope episode. If you ain't get no gems from this, I don't even know what to tell you, man.
They just gonna tweet. They just gonna focus on the Drake shit, man.
Nah,
This shit
nah,
fucked
we
up.
ain't- listen,
I just
man.
shot myself in the foot, man.
Yeah, right. I'm about to clickbait Rob Markman. Nah, listen, man. Dope episode of Cigar Talk. I appreciate y'all watching. We out of here.